Shoff, what would happen if Darth Vader and Grand Admiral Thrawn went to Disneyland?
If they went to Disneyland, they would have zero fun because they would not want to go on the same rides. They would not want to drink the same colored milk in Batuu, and Darth Vader would just he'd have too many merch. He'd have too much merch. He'd have too many bags full of stuff. He'd have the ears and everything, and Thrawn would be like, "Come on, they're price gouging."
Thrawn would be like, whatever. This is all accurate, Shoff, because we read Star Wars Thrawn Alliances #1, and you should too. But we're going to talk about it in today's episode. So when you first heard about this, Shoff, when it first came across your stack, what were you thinking? What was your first initial thoughts?
Well, I didn't know about the Batuu thing, the Galaxy's Edge angle, until I started reading it. Like that, I didn't have any knowledge of. And actually going into it, all I knew is that it was an adaptation of Timothy Zahn's novelization, Thrawn Alliances. So I was like, okay, I love Timothy Zahn. I loved his Thrawn stuff he's done before. And
he created Thrawn.
Right, he created Thrawn. I love Thrawn in Rebels. I loved him in Ahsoka. Like, there's so much goodness about Thrawn. He's such an interesting character, and I'm so glad that we're really kind of digging into him more now. Like, he's getting more attention than he's ever gotten, and it's rightfully so. He's so much fun. But I didn't have much knowledge of this beyond it's another Thrawn comic, and I was like, that's all I need to know. That I've heard all I need to hear. Sign me up. Put it in front of my face. I want to read it.
That's exactly how I am. Whenever I see that blue skin, I know it's going to be a win. And it's not the Smurfs, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn. So whenever I see that, I just want to, I'm like you, Shoff. I'm a Thrawn vacuum. I want to suck it up. I want to drink it in. I drink your Thrawn shake. I really want more Thrawn content in every aspect. I want Thrawn TV shows. I want Thrawn animated shows. I want comic books, novels, whatever it is. I just want more because he's such an interesting character, and he had existed in the Legends canon for so long. And then when they brought him in with Dave Filoni, and first, like you said, in Rebels, and then we saw him in the live action Ahsoka show, I said, man, this is going to be good to see how closely they adhere to the previous established canon. And this issue that we read, Thrawn Alliances #1, I don't think disappointed, Shoff. It was exactly what I wanted. The interplay between Anakin and Thrawn, or I should say Vader and Thrawn, but then with the flashback, seeing Anakin and Thrawn, because that relationship has been hinted at before. Like he said, I knew Anakin Skywalker. Like he said that in previous material. And so we haven't got a chance to actually see this. We haven't seen the story. So tying in Batuu, Galaxy's Edge, all of that just makes it more immersive and makes it more like, oh, this is a real universe that we have to play in. And that's what I love about all of this Star Wars stuff, that it feels like the universe is so big.
Yeah. Have you been to Galaxy's Edge, by the way?
Yes, I actually have a video of myself creating a custom lightsaber at
Savi's
Galaxy's
workshop.
Edge.
Yeah.
Yes, on the YouTube channel. If you're interested, you can check that out. But I loved the time that I got to spend in Galaxy's Edge. I can't wait to go back. And I saw a picture of Shaw holding a lightsaber one time in Galaxy's Edge as well.
That's true. I did the same thing. I got to make a lightsaber at Savi's workshop. What kyber crystal did you go with? What color?
I went with purple because of Mace Windu. I said, I got to go Sam Jackson.
Nice. Yeah, I went blue. Next time around, I would go red. I would definitely have a Merry Sithmas for sure.
I think that would be my next choice as well. In this specific.
Yes. Good.
Did you have any highlights or standout moments in this issue, Shoff?
Honestly, I just loved the bickering back and forth between Thrawn and Vader. Like, to me, it felt like a really funny buddy road trip type situation.
Yes.
It was a buddy comedy without really intending to be a comedy per se. It's kind of why I wore this shirt. This is my Blues Brothers shirt, because they go on their own road trip of sorts, and they're not always in agreement on what to do. Not so much like oil and water like Vader and Thrawn. Honestly, it wasn't even it was more Vader being kind of
Hmm.
a biatch than Thrawn was, which was really funny to me. You don't normally see that side of Vader, but like they're both like Palpatine's kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
they both report to him. They both want to do good in his eyes, and they have different ideas on what that's supposed to look like, and it shows, and it makes for a really enjoyable read, I think.
Yeah. Also, Thrawn is the only character besides Palpatine that doesn't seem afraid of Vader. Like whenever you
Yeah.
encounter some character either mentioning the name of Vader or in his presence, whatever he says, somebody's like cowering. But Thrawn is like, no, you ain't gonna do that. Like if Vader says he gives an order that goes against what Thrawn thinks is the best way forward, he's like, no, you ain't gonna do that. This is my ship. This is I command this. If you're gonna
Yeah.
give orders, you can do it on your ship. But I love that about Thrawn. He has no fear when it comes to Vader. And I hope we get to see something in this backstory, the flashbacks that we're seeing with Anakin, that maybe hints at that of why he's not afraid. Like something happened in his past with Anakin that he's like, I know you. You were that little kid. That little Annie. I'm not afraid of him. So I hope we get
Annie.
to see something like that.
It's Annie. Do you okay? So do you think? And the issue doesn't really express whether or not Thrawn knows that Vader used to be Anakin Skywalker. I think that there's a dramatic irony here for the reader, of course, because we know that Anakin becomes Vader. But and also the storyline of this issue, which I think is really, really cool and a fun then and now scenario, is that they show that Thrawn and Anakin teamed up and went to Galaxy's Edge, went to Black Spire Outpost,
Yes.
and then in the now timeline, we've got a Thrawn and Vader team up and them going to Batuu as well. So, but the question I have is, obviously Vader is aware that he went with Thrawn before and he has his feelings about Thrawn. But is Thrawn truly aware that Anakin Skywalker is Vader and vice versa? Like, or is that the thing that we find out in this, like in this series? Like, is that going to become made aware to him? I just find that this is clearly playing off of the idea of a before and after. And I think that that would then lead itself to the realization that there's a shared like they've known each other for longer than they think they have or something. So
Right.
I just wanted to get your take on that. Do you think that by this point in this story that Thrawn knows that Vader used to be Skywalker?
Yeah. When I'm reading this, and actually even in other media, when I'm encountering Thrawn and Vader, in the back of my head, I have this backstory that he knows him. He's such a cunning, you know,
Linguist.
uh, he's such a formidable adversary. I can't see why he wouldn't put that together. So I think in my mind, he knows, he is aware that Anakin becomes Vader, and I'm hoping by the end of this series we can kind of get that revelation of, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
knew the whole time. But they might pull the rug out from under us, Shaw, and be like, "Oh, he didn't know. He thought Anakin died," because he definitely says that in this issue. He's like, "Oh yeah, Anakin, he's gone. That guy died a long time ago." But I think that's just him, moving the puzzle pieces or the chess pieces around and being like, "I'm 2 steps ahead of you."
Right. Yeah.
But
Conveying, like, making Vader think he doesn't know, but really knowing all. Yeah. That feels very Thrawn to me. I agree. But we'll have to just see what the next issues sort of say, because
yes,
it's unclear. Because definitely Ahsoka was really shocked. She didn't realize. It wasn't until during Rebels that she realized that they were the same person, that Anakin was Vader. So like there was definitely, it wasn't like a widespread understanding and knowledge. And that's something that, like, as a Star Wars fan, I didn't really realize. I just assumed that the entire galaxy knew that Anakin Skywalker became Vader. I mean, if we know that Anakin turned to the dark side, I guess the understanding is like, well, then where did he disappear to, right? But I guess like the assumption is everyone thought that he died on Mustafar, like that was it, like that was the end of him. So, but for whatever reason, like I always jump over that moment, and I've just been under the impression that it's kind of just common knowledge. But one thing that was kind of interesting was in the Kenobi miniseries that was on Disney Plus, that was a great indication that no, it's not widely known that Anakin is Vader. So I just find that really fascinating. That's a really interesting rebirth for for his character.
Yeah, I really like that. I always kind of, I guess, in the back of my head, thought that that was a secret, and kind of like Peter Parker's identity as Spider-Man. And did you? I can't remember if we talked about this before. Did you finish the Arkham games, the Batman video games? There
So
was
I
three
played
total.
Arkham Asylum all the way through. I love that. Arkham City, I did not. I played maybe like a fourth of, not much. Um, and then I played all of Arkham Knight. I never played
Okay,
Arkham Origins, but I know that's not technically
right.
within the realm of like the
Yes,
trilogy.
Arkham
Um,
Knight is the one I want to focus on.
oh, okay,
So,
yeah, I've played that all the way through. Yeah.
okay, so spoilers for anyone who hasn't finished Arkham Knight, the video game. But in that game, Batman is revealed as Bruce Wayne
Yes.
to Gotham, to the world. And I always thought that that was interesting because we haven't really seen that in a lot of comics or a lot of media, that specifically it is revealed that Bruce Wayne is Batman. So in this, they just came out with another game set in the Arkham universe. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, and it takes place after Arkham Knight. So I'm not going to spoil anything for that game, but because it's after Arkham Knight, everyone knows he's Bruce Wayne. I kind of forgot as I was playing the game. I was like, oh yeah, it is in that timeline. It's in this universe where Bruce Wayne is revealed, because there's a little exhibit, like a museum that you go to, and it's like
Oh.
Batman was billionaire Bruce Wayne, and this was, and Batman's like talking in a like a hologram, and he's like, "My parents were killed by crime," and I was like, "Whoa!" But that, knowing the lead, like the hero, the main guy that we have known, his, like you said, kind of breaking the fourth wall, the audience has known for so long. It's interesting to get the universe, the characters' perspective that didn't know that. So with Vader, I think it's the same
Yeah.
type of thing. The galaxy, if they knew that it was Anakin, then what? Like, what stories can we tell out of that? So I find that fascinating. I find that to be an
Yeah.
interesting kind of
That's really
concept.
cool. That's a literary device called dramatic irony, when the audience
Yes.
knows what something that the characters that they're watching do not, and it's a really cool kind of thing to play around with. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, this was a really interesting start, and I found it really captivating from start to finish. I think I really enjoyed the two timelines sort of like bouncing off of each other, getting to see the parallels of visiting Batuu on two different occasions with the same two people, just at different points in their lives and in different uh statures, I guess you could say too. So, um, and I because I never really watched a lot of Clone Wars, I don't feel like I got a lot of time with Anakin,
Mm.
in those formative
Yes.
years when he
Yes.
established himself as, a very strong,
Yeah.
Jedi-esque person,
General.
right?
Yeah.
And
That's
so, yeah,
100%. I would highly recommend, when you have the chance, if you want to spend more time with Anakin, the Clone Wars is the best way to do that. Like, there's so many episodes, and there's so much content of him as that person in that time period.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely 100%. But yeah, I think from the sounds of it, Shuff, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this Thrawn Alliances issue 1 sounds like we both enjoyed it. We both had a
oh
good
yeah.
time, a good start.
Absolutely. I'm going to definitely see this through. That's 4 issues. It'll run through, I think April 10th is when the last issue comes out. So definitely going to be following this one monthly, and looking forward to the second issue.
Yes. If anyone had a chance to check out Thrawn Alliances #1, or even if you didn't, let me know. What is your thoughts on Thrawn, Vader, Anakin? Hey, Shoff's question: Did Thrawn know that Vader was Anakin? What do you think? What are your thoughts in the comments down below? Let us know. We love hearing from you here in the Vactorverse.